Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is the 11th video in the series Thesis Report Writing using Microsoft Word. In this video, we are going to consider working with images. Usually when you are creating your thesis, you cannot avoid working with images. And the source of your image can come from one of cameras, web pages, or webcam, or even an external device such as a flash drive where you copy the image from. Once you have an image displayed on your screen, you can always copy it and use it in your report. So let's go to Microsoft Word and see how we do that. I'll click on the Microsoft Word icon on the taskbar and then start our Microsoft Word. There's our Microsoft Word. Then we go into the body of our report. And suppose we have an image that we want to copy from a website and we want to place it somewhere here, for example. We can open a website such as this one where we have images like this. And suppose I want to copy the whole of these images from this website and place it on my report. I can use the print screen here. On my keyboard, I have a key that is labeled PRTSC, short for print screen. If I press it, I have pressed it even though you cannot see it. The whole of this page, I've copied the image on my keyboard. Go to my Microsoft Word document where I want to place the image and press Ctrl V so that the image can be placed there. You can see that we have the image there. So if I am comfortable with it as it is, I leave it there. And there are times when I do not want all the images. I may come to the same web page and suppose that I'm interested in only this particular chart and this, then I can use what we call a snipping tool. A snipping tool, actually, if you look at the taskbar on my system here, you'll see that this is the snipping tool, but maybe your system does not have it on the taskbar. You just go to the programs, all programs, you type snipping, S-N-I-P-P, and you see the snipping tool will come out. Look at it here. If you right click it, you can pin it on your taskbar. But I have it on the taskbar, so that's why it is asking whether I want to unpin it from taskbar. Actually, if you don't have it on the taskbar, you can just select pin to the taskbar, and you will get it here. So if I want to use the snipping tool to pick this particular chart and this other one, I can now click on the snipping tool here, go to new, and then you see my snipping tool will turn into a plus sign, and then I can now just highlight where I want to pick from the chart. Now it is on my snipping tool, because if I open the snipping tool wide, you will see it here. Can you see it on the snipping tool here? Look at it. It has been copied on the clipboard on the snipping tool. So if I go to my chart here, if I go to my report here, I can just Ctrl V and put it there. You can see that I have it there. Then I can copy the other one using the same snipping tool. I go to the snipping tool, click on new, so I can now highlight this chart. Let me highlight it from here and copy it. Now if I copy it, I paste it on my report. Maybe I paste it here. Then you see I have two charts which I pick from the website, the same website. Now the next thing that we may want to do, like we said, is that we may want to do certain things like cropping. Now by cropping, we mean that we want to chop off part of the image that we don't want to see in our report. For example, if this particular image has parts that I don't want to see on the report, for example, if my interest is just to display 6 categories of images that I'm seeing here, I can do away with the top here. I can do away with the ribbon or whatever it is and the taskbar that was captured during the copying of the image. And I can also do away with the white space on the right here. So if I want to do away with them, I can just right click on the image and then pick on the up there. You see that there's a cropping tool there. We have crop. If I click the crop, you'll see that it has surrounded my image with some lines, bold lines, which are tools that I can pick and then crop the image. So if I want to crop the whole of this white space, hover on this bold line until I see a T, an inverted T sort of, and then if I press my mouse button, I drag to the left, and you can see that I have cropped off the right white space that I don't want to see. And I can crop the top there by just doing the same, but bringing it down here and to the right, to the left as well. Crop it, crop the taskbar, and there we have all our 4 chart groups in one piece. I can resize it by picking the handle here. You can see if you click on an image, you'll see that it has handles around it. Anywhere you hover over the handle, you see a double arrow pointing to allowing you to drag it. And if I come here, you'll see the double arrow. If I come here anywhere, so I want to drag it diagonally. I hover over the handle here until it turns into a double arrow. Then I press my left button and drag. Now you can see I have now resized my image to a bigger one. than it was before. So if I want to move this image, you will see that it is difficult for me to move because I have clicked on the image. Now I want to move it. It is not moving because I have not selected the right option to move it. So what I do is that if I want to move these images, I right click on the image, go to wrap text. You can see wrap text there. I click on wrap text. It has other options. I click on square. If I click on square, you can see that it has even moved some text upwards because it now sees this one as floating, the image as floating image. So I can move it about. When I move it about, I can place it where I want. You can see I can move it easily because I just pressed my left button and I'm moving it about, and then my image can be moved where I want to see them. So now we have our image here. I decided to take it to the left a little bit. Then we can go to the other images. The next thing is that here we have two images. If I want to move this one, it will not move, but it has moved, but maybe not to the way I want it. So what I'm going to do is that I will do the same activity by right clicking on this one and then going to wrap text, going to square, and then allowing it to move. Do it the same to the second one. Wrap text, go to square, so that you can see here that we have the two images now can be moved easily, freely. I move it like this. If I want to put the images side by side, I can put them side by side here. For example, I can have the image here. Now, once I have them side by side, I can make them become a single image so that anytime I want to move them, they can be easily moved without having to pick one after the other. So when I want to make them a single image, I can now just highlight the two images. I have highlighted this first image on the right. I will press my shift button and go to the left image and then click on it while holding the shift button. Then that means I have highlighted the two of them. Once you have highlighted the two of them, you can group them together by either right clicking and selecting group here and select group, or you can just highlight and go to picture format on your ribbon there. You click, you will see that you have an icon for grouping here. This is group. You can group objects by clicking this one. You can group. Once you group it, it is now seeing a single image. And once you have your image in place, you can now easily move them around in one piece. So the next thing we are going to see is how do we add captions like we saw in the previous video. If you have not watched it, the link for the previous video is included in the description below. So we want to add a caption to our image. So to add a caption, you just click on the image, right click it, of course, and you see, just like we did with the table, you see insert caption somewhere. This is insert caption, and you'll notice that it is the same dialog box that will be displayed if you had wanted to add caption to a table. Only that here, because it senses that this is an image, so it is saying figure 1, and you'll see that it is placing it below the figure. That its position is going to be below selected item, which is below the figure, because conventionally figure captions are usually placed below them, whereas captions for tables are placed above them. So here the default is below, but you can choose to place it above if there is any reason for placing it above. But then here it is appropriate, so we just say we can put a column here and put a caption for that particular figure, such as let's say charts from a web page. Charts from a web page. Charts from a web page. If it's okay, we can now say it's okay. So you see that your figure 1 is charts from a web page. You can always increase the font if you want, or you can leave them as they are. All right, you can leave them as they are, or you can increase the font. You can see the font is Times New Roman, but it's 9. If I want to, I can make it 12, for example, to make it bigger. And so you can see we are seeing figure 1 charts from a web page. If I right click on this one, I insert a caption again. I can now give it the title, grouping separate. Let's say grouping separate images. We say OK. Once we click on OK, we have inserted the caption as well below this this image. So we can also increase the font size to 12 so that it's more visible. So we have figure 2 here and we have figure 1 there. I want to make sure that the list of figures is on a separate page, so I press my enter key several times until I create a new page, which is Roman page 3, and I want to place my list of images here. So I now just say okay, go to references. You can see like we did before, which I insert table of figures. So I click on table of figures This is going to be what I want, so I now just say table of figures. Alright, you will see that the table of figures is there, but like it is with the list of tables, you need to include the title for the you can notch the list of figures so that once you give it a title, you can highlight it, and then this is a Roman, maybe this is too low, it's too small, so we go to the home tab and then make it uppercase because we want to make that list of figure a heading 1 type. So we now have a list of figures, okay, maybe figures, because it's sensing that it cannot be a list of just one figure. So I highlight it, and then we go to styles group and select heading 1 style so that it belongs to the heading 1 style. You can see that our list of figures, figure 1 is on page 7 and figure 2 is on page 8. So let's see if it is correct. And why should it not be correct? It may not be correct because the page numbering has been altered. So I think we have to go and reset the page numbering. Let's go and reset our page numbering because this is supposed to be page 1, not page 4. See, this is section 1, and the last page in that section 1 is home and 3. And this should be section 2 because if I just double click here, you see that we're in separate sections. You can see that this is section 1. Can you see? This is section 2. So the first page on section 2 should be page 1, not page 4. So what we do is that we just double click here on the page. So we just right click anywhere on the page here. The right click if it is possible. If it is not, we right click so we can select format page numbers, and then we now start at page 1. So we say okay, so that your page will start at page 1. And if I now save the work, you will see that your work, your chapter 1 should be now on page 1, and the figure 1 should be on page 4, right? Look at it on page 4, and figure 2 should be on page 5 appropriately. So if we go to the table of contents, we can update it, or sorry, to the list of figures, we can update it because it's not on page 7 and 8. So I right click anywhere here and say update fields. Now I will have to update the entire field and click OK. You will see that it has reflected correctly that figure 1 is on page 4 and figure 2 is on page 5. So that's how we actually add figures to, images to our report, add captions to them, and then do some activities like generating the list of figures, resizing the figures, and so on and so forth. I hope you have benefited from this video. If so, let's hope to meet in the next video. Thank you.